Hello, hello, hello. And I always wonder when to actually start these. Because sometimes, like for the first maybe 10 seconds of these, it just kind of looks like Streamlabs is loading up, like it's launching everything. So normally I wait those first like 7 or 8 seconds before I start talking, but I assume it picks me up straight away. So we are back. WWF Superstars, May 2nd, 1992. Our hosts are Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect. This week featured matches such as Skinner vs Ultimate Warrior. Also in action are Money Inc., Big Boss Man, and the debut of High Energy, which means we need to find Owen Hart apart. So straight off the bat, Angle. This is our A show, WWF Superstars opening. Nice. 3 minutes. Hype. Ooh, hype. Pre-taped video. Just put all the usual boys in. Nice. Star, Gene, Liz, Perfect. I also kind of want to put Andre and Boodog in there since he's going to start to make his way up to a major star by SummerSlam. Let's put this to improvised. Perfect. Book segment. Start off, Big Boss Man against Mark Roberts. Not quite sure who Mark Roberts is, but we can stick him against heel, male, straight off the bat. Let's go with Ronnie D. Mr. Rain, how are you? Good morning. You're here just in time for the start. Big Boss Man goes over straight away. So the debut of Nails is coming up soon. We then get the WWF update with Gene Okerlund. We are shown last week when Berserker nearly stabbed The Undertaker with his sword. Nice. We can split this update into 3 specific angles. So just WWF update with Gene Okerlund. How are you, Mr. Rain? I hope you are well this fine morning. So we need The Undertaker. I hope the music isn't too loud either. I didn't fully check the audio levels, if I'm honest. Let's check now. Oh no, they look fine. They look fine. The Berserker, The Undertaker, we need Mr. Fuji, and Paul Bearer. It's all good with me. Nails not the best, but he'll do. I'm happy enough to run his storyline. Do we have anyone on an exclusive written? Fair play, we do. I genuinely didn't think we would. Has he had any previous matches? No. Nice. Nice. Music is good. Sweet. Thank you. So Berserker and Fuji, they proved The Undertaker is human. A nice, easy. I'm happy the Berserker's kind of getting his due, actually getting a nice storyline. He is ultimately just going to be fodder for The Undertaker, but you can say that about so many other feuds with The Undertaker. Undertaker asks Berserker and Fuji if they expected the Reaper after knocking at the Devil's door, and tells them to rest in peace. Nice. We can leave it at that. I wonder if this is going to continue until SummerSlam. Undertaker, Paul Bearer, cutting a promo on Mr. Fuji, the Berserker. I don't fully remember a Berserker Undertaker feud, but not against it. John Nord's huge. We then get a quick Ultimate Warrior squash. Not Ultimate Warrior squash. Berserker. We do have him with Mr. Fuji at the moment. I don't mind the pairing of Fuji. He doesn't need to be with Tanaka. I don't mind the pairing of Fuji and Berserker. Okay. There he is, Big John Nord. Do we have a better Berserker picture? Like, I don't know who else. I guess it's just under John Nord. I don't know who else I would have him as the manager as. Did I just spell Berserker wrong? Or Berserker? I'm the idiot. I'm happy with that one. We'll change it up a little bit. So then we have a quick Papa Shango squash. Yeah, I never know who would make a good, like... Because obviously he's kind of a wild Viking. I don't know who would make more sense as a manager than Mr. Fuji. Because at least Umaga and Armando, that kind of made sense. Who was Kamala's manager? It was just Harvey Whippleman, wasn't it? Savio Vega is a manager. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of someone who matches Berserker's vibe, you know what I mean? But it's hard since he's such like an odd gimmick. Like Paul Bearer and Undertaker works. It would be weird to have Paul Bearer managing, I don't know, Dynamite Kid. You know what I mean? We can have Shango beat Luke. We have no cause for him. Cheeky little Shango domination. So Vince says that Shango is even a threat to the Ultimate Warrior. I imagine we'll find some way to fit Papa Shango into the Psycho Sid feud, since Sid has technically already left. What was the name of Kamala's manager? I know it was Whippleman. That makes sense. I've just searched Kamala and got Kamala Harris. That makes sense. Kamala WWF. No, maybe you are right. Maybe he does need more of like a... I went... Like an MVP being like, I went to... You know, back in time and found this man. Kamala only died in 2020. I thought Kamala was dead for years. Kimchi, that's what it is. Fucking love kimchi. '92 to '93. Oh, so Kamala's already gone. In December '93, Kamala was announced to participate in the '94 Rumble match. During the bout, the announcers noted that Virgil, as an alternative participant, had replaced him. Oh, Kamala returns in May 9th. Oh, Kamala returns next week. Fuck hell. We need to get Kamala in. Is he under a written? Oh, handshake, that's fine. Andre doesn't like Kamala. I do like old school wrestling, I do. I enjoyed... like learning more about it as going, because I feel like I already had a solid enough base knowledge, but getting to do this, oh, you're not a freelancer, let's be honest, Kamala. Getting to do this save and learn more about like the Beverleys has been nice. This song's a banger. Whatever music's on today, I'm happy with. When does Bam Bam debut? October 92. Fair. Andre doesn't like other giants. Where's Kamala? You are not a freelancer. That's fine. Andre will just pay you off. You should be happy enough. I'm happy to keep Kamala in Mexico. He can get a bit more pop while he's wrestling about. Nice. Bam Bam doesn't come in till October. So we don't have to have him yet. We then get Tatanka against Brian Costello. Was Martel still feuding with him? Move this here and this here. We can have, where's Tatanka? Buffalo. He can go against heel, male, Mike Anthony. Is it Mike Anthony who's the problem? Yeah, hard drug user. Mike Anthony is the problem. Let's have him against Cherry Gray instead. Four minutes should do. Stick Tatanka over. And what's Rick Martel doing after the match? After the match, Martel heads out and tells Tatanka he smells, then proceeds to spray arrogance everywhere. Tatanka pushes Martel from behind off the apron, and that angers Martel, who tells Tatanka to do that to his face. Tatanka slowly gets on the apron and yells, but flies off and gets arrogance sprayed in his eyes. Martel then takes Tatanka's eagle feathers and sprays them too, as Vince tells us they belong to Tatanka's grandfather. Martel then puts them in his hair and says he has started a new title and heads up the aisle. Bloody Rick Martel. It's fine, we can just stick all this. Chase the spray arrogance. We do have that as a feud, don't we, under Tatanka Buffalo? We do. We can actually deploy the creative idea, just to kind of boof that up a bit since it's very cold. So Rick Martel and Tatanka. 3 minutes should be sound. Nice. Backstage, we see trainers putting drops into Tatanka's eyes. We then have Money Inc. against Roy Cumberledge and Chris Hahn. Before the match, IRS tells the crowd to pay their taxes because DiBiase is sick of supporting everyone. I do like Money Inc. So 2v2, we can have Ted and IRS. Taking on face, males. Who do we have? Oh, we have Hugo. I forgot about Hugo. They can go against Crush and Jim Powers. A solid enough team. 4 minutes should do. Stick. IRS could actually do with the win. That here, I think? Yeah. We can do the little IRS promo angle. 3 minutes, so we can have IRS cutting a promo with Ted, and we can kind of pretend that's on Typhoon and Earthquake. and that's before the match. So if anything, we can stick that there. Right. An ad for the WrestleMania 8 Coliseum home video release as they shows the end to the Flair Savage match. Oakland welcomes Randy Savage to the interview platform after congratulating Savage on his title win and by winning Elizabeth's honour. Oakland talks about the win possibly being tainted. Savage says it's the 90s and that he had to do whatever it took because Flair would have done anything to him. Oakland asked those thinking that he stole the title, as Savage says he did not, and the only thing he stole was the kiss that Flair stole from Liz. Savage then tells Flair he now has the kiss of death, and how it's the first time that a champion issued the challenger. So it just seems like they're kind of reaching to extend this feud. But that's fine. You just write cause Flair would have done anything. Nice. 4 minutes, we can have Gene Oakland as the interviewer. Randy Savage cutting a promo with Ric Flair off screen. Perfect. We then see a vignette for Crush as he's in a junkyard. Crush talked about loving baseball as a kid, as we see a video of him crushing a baseball. But now he's in the WWF, there will be no more games. So we have our own little Crush. We have Kenny Kendall as Crush instead. Kenny Kendall says now he's in the WWF, there'll be no more games. Kenny Kendall, I guess, cutting a promo. Let's do this as character development. Nice. So we then have Tom Bennett and Dwayne Gill against High Energy of Coco and Owen. I'm actually thinking of doing High Energy as Owen and Louis Spicoli. Teams, add. If we do High Energy. In fact, when does Marty Jannetty return? Where is it? Shortly after house arrest concluded, Jannetty re-signed with the WWF in October '92 at a TV taping in Saskatchewan, attempting to strike Michaels with his mirror but inadvertently hitting Sherry. He challenged Michaels to a match at the '93 Rumble for the IC title. Jannetty attacked Michaels during the confrontation. They had to be separated, indicating that their feud would continue and perhaps lead to a rematch at WrestleMania, but Jannetty was released once again after rumours circulated stating that he'd been under the influence of alcohol or drugs during the match, leading to its low quality. Michaels was then shifted into feud with Tanker. Jannetty to this day denies that he was intoxicated at the event, but explains having been tired from a lack of sleep. In fact, let's do High Energy, definitely not spelled like this. High Energy is Owen and Marty. Unit. Let's put the finisher as High Five. If we search inactive unit, High Energy, I think we can just delete the team. It's fine. Add new team, High Energy, Owen and Marty. I just want to get Marty on it. I feel bad for him to a degree. Do active only. Nice. So Tom Bennett and Dwayne Gill versus high energy. We can do high energy against heels. Who do we have? Brawler in the Wits. Brawler in the Wits it is. Quick little 5-minute stick. Over and over. Good and simple. We then get an ad for the WBF Championship. And finally our main event of Skinner against the Ultimate Warrior. So the real problem is that Sid quit and the title feud is lacking heat. Sid quit after the Boston Garden show after his match against the Warrior, where he lost by DQ. Sid said that the house drew a poor crowd and he was told by agents that Warrior would kick out of his powerbomb. Sid said he would do that, but then he'd quit after the match because he was pissed about his move not being protected and sick of the lies he was told by Vince McMahon. So main event, let's have the Ultimate Warrior against heel. Who should we have instead? Heel Mountie. 15 minutes. The Ultimate Warrior. Storytelling. At ringside, let's stick Sid. I want to keep Sid around until he debuts in the WCW. Move that here. And then after the match, Vince says that Sid just is looking on and wonders what will happen when they face off as Warrior poses to the fans. So Vince, I guess some character development, same with the Ultimate Warrior and Sid. 4 minutes, happy with that. We can squeeze in a couple of matches. So let's have, if we include, I think we can have Victor and Salmon against heels. In fact, let's have, we've raced it, yeah. Maniac Mark and Ray Stevens against faces Tom Davis and Scott Dalton. Quick little win for Lewin and Stevens. Move that here. And then a solid, I don't know, 1v1. I want to do something with Bully Busick, so let's put him against Virgil. Got a 19 before, let's see what it gets now. I need to find a heel that I can replace with Big Bully Busick. Nice. 63%, so not be penalised. What's booking analysis saying? Nothing at all. Let's run the show. We only took 24 minutes to get this one done. We got a WWF Superstars opening. Bossman defeated Ronnie D in 4-7 with the Bossman Slam. We then get the WWF update with Gene Oakland, where we are shown when Berserker nearly stabbed The Undertaker with his sword. Papa Shango defeated Luke in 103 with the Voodoo Driver. Vince says that Shango is even a threat to the Ultimate Warrior. Lewin and Stevens defeated Tom Davis and Scott Dalton when Maniac Mark submitted Dalton with a sleeper. Berserker and Fuji say they proved that the Undertaker is human. Subpar Wrestling and Little Heat. Tatanka defeated Jerry Gray in 348 with an Indian Death Drop. After the match, Martel heads out, tells Tatanka he smells, and proceeds to spray arrogance everywhere. Tatanka pushes Martel from behind off the apron, and that angers Martel, who tells the tanker to do that to his face. Before the next match, IRS tells the crowd to pay their taxes because DiBiase is sick of supporting everyone. Money Inc. defeated Crush and Jim Powers when IRS submitted Jim Powers with the penalty. Undertaker asks Berserker and Fuji if they expect the Reaper after knocking at the Devil's door, and then tells them to rest in peace. Big Bully Busick defeated Virgil in 306 with a stump puller. And Oakland welcomes Randy Savage to the interview platform. After congratulating Savage on his title win and by winning Elizabeth's honour, Oakland talks about the win possibly being tainted. Savage tells Flair he now has the kiss of death, and how it's the first time that the champion issues the challenger. High Energy make their debut, defeating Brooklyn Brawler and Barry Horowitz when Owen submitted Witz with the sharpshooter. We got a vignette of Crush as he's in the junkyard. Crush talks about loving baseball as a kid, as we see him crushing a baseball, but says that now he's in the WWF, there'll be no more games. Then, in our main event, which really didn't do well at all to be honest, the Ultimate Warrior defeated the Mountie in 1442 with a running splash. Vince says that Sid Justice is looking on and wonders what will happen when they face off. Not our best of shows, I'll be honest. Popularity not doing great, though we did raise it in Southern England, so we can always take that. Solid show all round, I'll take that. This seems to be taking a little longer than normal for loading. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I guess AAA are like hiring everyone. Does that kind of make sense? Injury for Arn Anderson. Freddie Blassie's retiring. He's timed that perfectly with Bob Holly. God, everyone seems to be feuding. Chris Benoit was the star of the show on Pacific Northwest. Where is it? NWA's Pacific Northwest. Don Morocco defeated the Grappler. Chris Adams defeated Moretti. Jesse Barber and Mike Weiner. Booker T, Mike Miller and Regal defeated John Rambo and the Harris Brothers. Benoit and Stevie Ray defeated Bunkhouse Brown and Dean Malenko. It's not a bad show. Rick Rude thinks Rick Rogers doesn't connect. Orndorff thinks Bagwell doesn't get it. Zabisco thinks Van Hammer doesn't get it. And Arn shouldn't miss any dates, which is nice. Freddie Blassie will... Oh, we felt a medium. That's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, WWF did start some cost-costing measures at this point. Big trouble in little WWF. I think medium's solid for us. I don't mind that. It shouldn't necessarily affect us too much, if I'm honest. Where's Bob Holly? Oh, we already have him in a developmental. Perfect. Yeah, I think that makes sense for the era that we're going in to be medium-sized. Wrestling Challenge. Do we auto-book that one? I think we do. Yeah, we do. Because I would put WWF in 95, 94 in medium size. WCW main event 1992. 26, 426. We need. We need 5, 3. There it is. Nice. We're actually getting somewhere. No one gets the night off. We're on Sunday, so where are we at? 19th of April. We're back up. 26th of April. And 2nd of May in the Mid-Atlantic. So I guess we're in the Mid-Atlantic. Locker room incidents. What's the crack? Dory Funk was in fine form. And Anderson ran some drills. Tony Schiavone annoyed Ole Anderson. Nothing too bad, all things considered. So what's going on in the main event? Tom Zenk and Bagwell defeated Flamingo and Lionheart. This is a B show, so we don't have Ivan, do we? Instead, let's do Bagwell and, I don't know, Dory. In fact, let's do Van Hammer against Heels, Lionheart, and Scotty Flamingo. Why does Flamingo have cool momentum? He 8 wins and 3 losses, but he's undefeated in WCW. Save. This can be the main event. Bagwell pinned Southern after Zenk hit a missile dropkick, but the referee's back. Behind the referee's back is Southern and Bagwell, as Southern had Bagwell twisted up, with Bagwell falling on top for the win. Don't know what happened there. Let's stick Bagwell over here, that's fine. It's only a B show anyway. Rick Steiner got a nice squash over Bubba Howard. Rick Steiner can go after heel, male, Bob Cook. 3 minutes here, let's stick Rick over. Terry Taylor and Greg Valentine defeat Junkyard Dog and Brad Armstrong. It's fine. We're happy to see Taylor and Greg Valentine still together. Valentine and Taylor, they can go against face, males. Who are they kind of feuding with? Ivan, Nikita, Bagwell. Fair. They can beat faces. Brad Armstrong. Tony Sinclair. I do like Sinclair. Greg Valentine goes over. You know what? Yeah, we can make it a title match. United States Tag Team. So if we do a storyline of WCW, NWA World Tag Team. I can't remember who was in it. Dean Malenko's away. If we have Kip Allen Frey and I seem to remember we'll get Eddie Guerrero and Art Bass, that's fine. So, NWA Tag Team Tournament. $1992. NWA World Tag Team. Is that one NWA World Tag Team Tournament? That'll do. Overview. Here we go, that's the teams. So storyline, where is it? So first team, we are going to have Terry Gordy and Steve Williams. We will have Arn and Bobby Eaton. Beef Wellington and Crispin Moore need to be added. Instead of Brad Anderson and Bob Cook, we'll have Art Barr and Eddie Guerrero. Kind of Dustin and Barry Windham. Hiroshi Hase and Shinya Hashimoto we should hopefully have. Instead of Jeff O'Day and Larry O'Day, we can have Al Madrill and Colonel De Beers. Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes are in the tournament. Joe and Dean Malenko will be added. Jushin and Brian Pillman. Bagwell and Ivan. Miguel Perez and Ricky Santana will be added. Nikita and Ricky Steamboat. Rick Steiner. And Rick Rude's in it. So it's Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. There he is. Steve Austin's also in it. And so will Silver King and whoever his partner is. That's fine, we can add them as they come in. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Alright, what's next? Rick Rude got a quick win in 1 minute. He can go against FaZe, Men's, Adam Flash. Has that been a match that's happened? It is not. Stick Rude over. Yeah, it's fine. Nice. So, little WCW main event opening. Three minutes will do. Hype, pre-taped. Add everyone in. Wyndham, Vader, Dustin. That's a solid star lineup. So it features Tony Schiavone and Mike Montiel on commentary. Included WCW magazine segment hosted by Bischoff regarding the upcoming War Games at WrestleMania at Wrestle War 92. Nice. So I guess we can have Eric Bischoff as the interviewer, Sting, Promo, Keita, Paulie and Rick Rude. That's enough kind of people for me for that segment. So promo by Paulie and footage of the Dangerous Alliance attacking Barry Windham and Ricky Steamboat. So if we have Paul E cut the promo, then Rick Rude on character development with Steve, Bobby, Larry, Medusa. Anyone else in it? Steve, Bobby, Larry, Medusa. And Rick Rude's obviously here. With Ricky Steamboat and Barry Windham. Perfect. Bischoff then shows footage from previous night's Saturday night at the NWA Tag Team Title Tournament press conference that was interrupted by DDP. I don't remember that part happening, but solid. What's another word for press conference? Third tournament title press conference. 4 minutes. Kip. And we're gonna have to add everyone in now. Who's in it? Do you remember? Rude's in it, so Steamboat. Sting isn't. Wyndham's in it. So it's Dustin, so Steve, Pillman, Garvin, Jushin, Michael Hayes, Nikita's in it, Steiner, Steiner, Steve, Terry. Nice. That's enough people that I need to put in. So promo by Alabama's Randy Owen regarding his appearance on Saturday night. Then we got the Ross Report, in which Jim Ross conducts an interview with Dangerously regarding Ricky Steamboat's comments on the previous Saturday night, and Rick and Scott Steiner challenging Arn and Bobby in a steel cage. Nice. It's fine. We can have Jim Ross as the interviewer talking to Paulie Dangerously, cutting a promo on Ricky Steamboat, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, and then just mention Arn and Bobby. Nice, must book 7 more minutes. I don't think we need to. Oh, big stretch. We can just add a couple more minutes to some of these things. Perfect. 65%, so not be penalised. Let's run the show. WCW main event opening. Happy with that as always. Rick Rude defeated Adam Flash in 6:29 with a Rude Awakening. Got the WCW magazine segment hosted by Eric Bischoff regarding the upcoming War Games match. Rick Steiner defeated Bob Cook with the Diving Bulldog. Promo by Paul E and footage of the Dangerous Alliance attacking Wyndham and Steamboat. Valentine and Taylor defeated Armstrong and Tony Sinclair in 6:04, when Greg submitted Tony with a figure 4 to make defense number 2 of the United States Tag Team titles. Footage from previous night's Saturday night, featuring the NWA World Tag Team title press conference. Then the main event, which got a decent reaction. Bagwell and Van Hammer defeated Lionheart and Flamingo when Bagwell submitted Flamingo. We then get the Ross Report, in which Jim Ross conducts an interview with Paul E regarding Steamboat, Steiner, and Rick Steiner. We knew what was going on there. 21. It's 11 plus 9. So Wrestling Challenge. I believe we auto book this one, so I can't complain. It's Sunday, so that means you know what it means. We're still in the Midwest. Locker room incidents. DJ Peterson has asked if we might use him. We could. Billy Graham was brought before Wrestlers Court. Positive impact. Skinner ran some drills for Jerry Gray and DJ. Bulldog and Jim Powers had an over-the-top duet. Nice. So that's what I like, a nice little locker room. None of the stuff I'm getting now. Perfect. Let's squeeze all these in. Way too many angles. Let's have a nice little 4v4. Let's do a big heel one of Busick, Walker, Wolf, and Mike Anthony against faces Virgil, Crush, Luke, and Scott Colton. Oh, we need someone with one name. Crush, Luke, Virgil. There isn't one. That's annoying. Almost a good bit there. 5, and let's stick Busick over. Nice. So instead of an interview... Oh, speaking of Freddie Blassie. Can we talk to you? I'd like you to reconsider your retirement. Please. Alright. What is Superstar Billy Graham? He's a heel. We can put him with Sid, I think. What am I doing? WWF Wrestling Challenge opening. Hype, pre-taped video. I wonder how this, like, the shows are going to start to go now that we've fallen to medium. Andre and Bulldog. We can make it unscripted. Nice. Interview with Bossman. Happy with that. We can have that on Nails. Haku against Jim Duggan and said let's have heel. Exclude already booked. Let's have Hercules beat Duggan. Interview with Sean, again that's fine, we can cut that on Brett. So the Warlord, let's do the Berserker against Virgil. Happy just changing this to RuneScape music because I felt the music was getting a little bit much. Audio levels look fine. Video featuring Tatanka, that's fine. We can also have Rick Martel as subject of video. Barbarian against Jimmy Snuka, and so let's have heel. Shawn Michaels is still injured. We could do the Mountie against Snooker. Main event angle, interview superstar Billy Graham, Freddie Blassie, and Sid. I think I'm just going to transition Sid's manager from Freddie Blassie into just superstar Billy Graham. Nice, 59%, not penalised. Virgil's being used too much, I agree. We got the Wrestling Challenge opening. Busick, Mike Anthony, and Wolf and Walker defeated Virgil, Crush, Luke, and Colton when Busick submitted Colton with a stump puller. Got an interview with Bossman on Nails. Hercules defeated Duggan in 804 with a full Nelson. Interview with Sean on Brett. The Berserker defeated Virgil in 703 with a power slam. Video recapping the Tatanka Rick Martel feud. And about which I good heat and do some wrestling. This actually is better than I thought. Mountie defeated Snooker in 629 with a Quebec Crab. And finally an interview with Billy Graham, Freddie Blassie, and Sid. 68, happy with that. Financial report, made 21. I want to check the attendance and see how much it's kind of jumped down from. If it's not that much, then I won't be too bothered. Show history. So we got 2,300. The last one got... it doesn't even change at all, man. Not at all. So Hawk is now fully recovered, that's fine. Owen Hart is now classified as a regular wrestler. Yeah, fair to him. Phineas wants to be called up. Pat Patterson thinks Virgil has poor in-ring psychology. Why has Savage got issues? Just never likes the booking team. Just doesn't like them. Who is our figurehead at this time? Where is it? Figurehead. So figurehead view, Brett. So we currently have Hulk. It's doing great. I don't know who we'd pick over him. The heir is explicitly being positioned by the company to become the next figurehead. The advantage is that as long as they've spent at least 1 year in the role, they do not have to wait to become fully established. The disadvantage is that figureheads and their heirs tend to see each other as rivals. So if I check WWF figureheads. WWE figureheads then. Wrestling figure. Oh, I don't mean like figureheads. I mean it's like. WWE heirs. WWE top stars through the years. WWE top star after Hogan. So I don't know who I'd put at the top. Maybe the figurehead could be Brett. Or Sean. Figurehead could be Sean. Because he does eventually get there. So Piper's off on the 14th of May. Because at least Sean's top during the Attitude Era, though we can eventually change that to... Austin. Would it be The Rock or Austin? Probably Austin. Let's continue. We have WWF Primetime Wrestling next. When's that? 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. 4th of May 92. Going on WCW. Al's handed his notice to Pacific Northwest. Oh. Why? Who do we have here? Miguel Perez. What's Ricky Santana? Because they're teaming together. They can both be faces, alright. Miguel Perez Jr. Ricky Santana. Bart Vale, I want to bring in anyway. So if we do teams... It's not Miguel Perez and Ricky Santana, is it? I guess it is. Team, add... Miguel Perez and Ricky Santana. I just want to check that. Yeah, Miguel Perez Jr. and Ricky Santana. So if I just do where's storyline? There's major. Ricky Santana also is a major. Then Silver King and Texano. We probably need a call up actually. We call up Benoit and Dean Malenko. So it's, yeah, nice. Joe and Dean, and then Beef Wellington and Chris Benoit. So no one gets the night off. We are in Monday, so that means we're now in 3rd of May, the Mid-South. Locker room incidents. Lance wants to show up. Yeah, we can bring you in. Owen tried to bring Tanaka in on some team building, just annoyed him. Same with Mustafa actually. Jerry Gray, Ric Flair and the Berserker have been hanging out. Sherry told some fun stories. Nice. So primetime wrestling. I'm going to stick the opening in. Vince McMahon moderates night panel where Jim Duggan replaces Gorilla Monsoon. Nice, let's start with the opening, nothing really to note. 4 minutes, hype, pre-taped video. Don't have to worry too much about Superstar Billy Graham made his way up to well known. Yeah, we don't have to worry too much about this show being good. Because it is only a B show. Book, nice. A replay of the Crushed Junkyard vignette is shown. Let's just do Kenny Kendall cutting a promo for 2 minutes. And then we have High Energy defeating Wits and Kato. Nice. I thought I read something about a promo, but I didn't see anything. Let's have High Energy beat Heels, Males, Bill Tab, and Jerry Gray. 4 minutes. Stick Jannetty over. As long as he stays away from the drugs, I'm happy. Gene Oakland's update segment recaps the Undertaker Berserker brawl from Superstars. So Gene, character development, same with the Undertaker, the Berserker, Mr. Fuji, and Paul Bearer. Nice. That does not need to be 6 minutes though. 3 should do. IRS wrestles El Matador to a 15-minute time limit draw. Let's have IRS beat Tito Santana. We'll make it 10 minutes, I don't mind. IRS, let's make it a tainted win. That here. After the bell, El Matador blasts IRS with a flying forearm. Let's do Tito, IRS. Here. Tatanka's squash from Superstars airs, along with Rick Martel spraying Tatanka in the eyes with arrogance after the bout. In the eyes, yeah. Just Tatanka and Rick Martel. So Bret Hart and the Bushwhackers defeat the Nasty Boys and the Mountie. This match was taken from MSG before WrestleMania. That's fine, we can have that as a three-way. Three-way? 6-man tag. So let's have Bret with faces. The Von Erichs. Kerry and Kevin taking on heels. We can do the Mountie and the Nasty Boys. There they are. Stick Kevin over. Who is it? Who's the staff? Or is it Kevin himself? Perfect. We can put that here. Perfect puts over Shawn Michaels, saying that Michaels can be the next Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, I'm happy sticking that in. We can usually do with all the angles we can get. Let's have Mr. Perfect, Shawn, and Sherry. Oh, sensational Sherry. On character development with Brett off screen. A replay of Randy Savage's interview with Auckland on Superstars airs. So that's Gene is the interviewer. Randy Savage putting a promo on Ric Flair. 4 minutes should do. Ric Flair squashes Shawn. Heenan says he believes in the power of voodoo. Papa Shango squashes Shawn. Hillbilly Jim does a magic trick. Right. Let's have faces. Since he's here now, let's have Warrior and let's have Warrior, Animal and Hawk, which I think is the most mental team I've ever seen. Take on heels. I don't know. It's clearly already booked. Let's have them take on Ronnie D, Skinner and Tanaka. And we can stick Animal over. We can also have a 2v2. Let's have Danko and Barishnikov against heels, the Wits and Brawler. Stick Victor over. 5 minutes should be fine. We can have Dynamite Kid go over face, male, Jim Duggan. Dynamite Kid not done too much since losing at WrestleMania. And then we just need to add 2 more minutes on so we can add it to this. Add it to the main event. Nice. 65% matches, currently at 74, and so would not be penalised. I mostly have to read that out loud for myself. Let's go. Solid primetime wrestling, if you ask me. So we've got the primetime wrestling opening. High Energy defeat Tab and Jerry Gray when Marty pinned Jerry with a diving fist drop. A replay of the Crush Junkyard vignette is shown. IRS defeated Tito in 1024 using underhanded tactics. After the bell, El Matador blasts IRS with a flying forearm. In a bout which had good heat and decent wrestling, Brett and the Von Erichs defeated the Mountie and the Nasties when Kerry pinned Jerry with a diving crossbody. Gene Oakland's update segment recaps the Undertaker Berserker Brawl from Superstars. Dynamite defeated Duggan in 8:30 with a diving headbutt. And Tatanka's squash from Superstars airs, along with Rick Martel spraying Tatanka in the eyes with arrogance after the match. Danko and Barishnikov defeated Wits and Brawler when Victor pinned Wits. Perfect puts over Shawn Michaels, saying that Michaels can be the next IC champion. And then in our main event, in a decent match, the Ultimate Warrior and the Legion of Doom defeated Skinner, Ronnie and Tanaka when Animal pinned Ronnie with a scoop power slam. A replay of Randy Savage's interview with Oakland from Superstars airs. Nice. Financial report made 18 grand. Flash Flanagan. We've done well all around. Is this the end of our wrestling week? Ugh. Do we just have the auto-booked WCW show and that's our week done? Wyndham back at 100%. Primetime Wrestling drew a lot of praise. I hoped it would. Adolfo's retiring. How is AAA looking? Have they hired anyone yet? There they are. Not yet. Not yet. Wyndham's fully fit. I guess Silver King. Joe Malenko. I think also a heel. What is if we check? Dean is a face. So Joe turn. Let's change his gimmick to old school wrestler. Gimmick change, nice. Chris Benoit is a heel, so can Wellington Wilkins, no gimmick, nice. 2 teams, add so the Malenko brothers, just a unit, add new teams. We have Wellington Wilkins and Chris Benoit. And I think that's everyone so far. Ricky Santana, Miguel Perez, Silver King, we're still waiting, Wellington Wilkins. Nice. Let's continue. Power Hours in 4 days. The Undertaker thinks Tatanka's going to be a star. Doesn't really do too much, if we're completely honest. Let's just continue to next show. I wonder what's going on in the state of wrestling. WCW. New head booker for AAA is Mr. Lintz. Steve Simpson, Sam Houston. I feel like whenever I do early 90s... pay rise request, that's fine. Early 90s, like local to globals. Steve Simpson and Sam Houston are always my tag champions. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I have thought about doing a Smoky Mountain TV show. A TV show. Save. Let's sim to next show. Oh, big stretch. I felt like I heard a noise like my cat running around, but she's just asleep. Jack Victory changes style. Abdul is to retire in 3 months? I don't know if that's true. I'd like you to reconsider. Fair. No shows held. Doing quite well actually. Now we have El Texano. Heel, I guess? What's Silver King? He's also a heel. So do team, add team. El Texano and Silver King, Lost Cowboys. That's fine. No other teams I can necessarily see. Perfect. So there's the tournament sorted. That's the next show. I'm excited. Well, not excited. I'm interested to see AAA hires. I don't know how excited I really am, but I'm interested. It's one of my favourite RuneScape tracks if anyone's interested. I do want to play RuneScape on this channel at some point. on this stream. Oh, Kamala's here. I think he comes in as a heel. One would imagine so. And if I just replace, where's Harvey Wiggleman? Manages the Warlord, he doesn't really need to anymore. We can take him from the stable of the Dragon Bombers. None, save stable. And we can just replace him as Kimchi. Ooh. Kimchi. Save and say that's an alter ego. Not really too heaps to gain. Marla, where's he coming in? He's yet to get perceptive, right? That's fair. Manager. Kimchi. Nice. Is there a better Kamala picture? I quite like that one actually, that makes him look genuinely terrifying. Nice, let's continue. Estrella Blanca works exclusively in Mexico. That's such a good image of a luchador, that he kind of looks like AI. When the next Superstars? May 10 or May 9? May 10, 1992. We got Undertaker against Glenn Roof. Go on, who else is retiring? Mark Mero's now a regular wrestler. PN News' contract is ending. Does he do anything else? Not really. He wrestled in Catch Wrestling Association as Cannonball Grizzly for 6 years. Nice. But I think we can just get rid of him. I don't really care enough. Ricky Steamboat's now fit. Is he actually being given a contract? No. Perfect. Should we check AAA? Roster so far: Gladiator, Lismark, Sagrada, Anno 2000. Mr. Lynch's looking a lot different from his other picture. Rey Mysterio. You know, I'd believe this AAA. House show in Quebec did alright. I was gonna say advance next show, and the next show will be straight away. So we're on Saturday, 3rd of May, so we're now also in the Mid-South. Locker room incidents. Tony tried to bring Z-Man in and just annoyed him. And Anderson ran some drills. Joe's been passing on tips to Bart Vale. Gordon Soley organised a poker tournament. We don't need to address the locker room at all. Let's just auto-book this whole show. That here. Nice. So we have WCW Power Hour opening. Hype, pre-taped, 4 minutes. Wyndham, Vader, Dustin, Steve. We didn't start the fire. Van Hammer against Thomas Rich. Stick Van Hammer over. Interview with Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes. Ampersand Michael Hayes. And then we also have Jimmy Garvin cutting a promo on Anderson and Bobby. Nice. PN News against Buddy Rose. PN News can lose in a minute. Interview with Ivan. Bagwell, Ivan, Nikita. Marcus Alexander cutting the promo, same with Ivan Koloff. They can cut it on like Sting, Big Van Vader, and Terry Taylor. Nice. Bill Kazmaier against El Texano. Instead, El Texano can beat. What is Texano? I guess a heel. He can beat Adam Flash. In fact, freeziness. Let's do a 4v4. Let's have teams, heels, unimportant. Let's have La Perra del Terra and Los Cowboys taking on faces. The Patriots and Flash and Cook. Simple. 5 minutes. Let's stick over El Texano. Perfect. Video featuring Steve Austin and Missy Hyatt. Steve Austin's subjective video, same with who's in the Stun Gun storyline, I guess. Spartan Major, Ron Simmons. Nice. Dory Funk against Rip Rogers, we can stick the Funker over. Then video featuring Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner. Subjective video. Perfect. 56%, so not penalised. We got the WCW Power Hour opening. Van Hammer defeated Thomas Rich in 620. Interview with Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes. Buddy Rose defeated PN News with the Las Vegas Jackpot. Interview with Bagwell, Ivan and Nikita. La Perra del Terra and Los Cowboys defeated Flash, Cook and the Patriots when Texano submitted Flash with a Dandina Cradle. Video featuring Steve and Missy Hyatt. Dory Funk defeated Rip Rogers with a Texas Cloverleaf. And we got a video on the Steiners. Nice. Ooh, WCW Saturday night. Saturday night, 9th of May, 1992. So this was taped in Atlanta, Georgia. Booking team meeting, we're good. Locker room incidents, Kazmaier and Tully have been hanging out. Nice. So if we just add our WCW Saturday night opening. Uh, 4 minutes, hype, pre-taped video. Perfect. Host to Jim Ross and Randy Owen, one members of Alabama. So the Z-Man beats Bob Cook. Instead, we can just have Ivan beat Bob Cook. Ivan can get a win over heel, males. Yeah, Bob Cook, I'm fine with that. 2 minutes, stick Ivan over. Solid match all around. Straight into Nikita against Mr. Hughes. Nothing necessarily happens there either. Let's have Nikita beat heel male. I don't know. Greg Valentine should be fine actually. 10 minutes also. Stick Nikita over. Rick Rude joins the studio for an interview. Randy wants to know why Rick left the WWF and joined WCW. So Rick points out that he was IC champion for a long time, and that put him in line for a shot at the WWF that never happened. Except for multiple times he got a title shot at the Ultimate Warrior in 1990. So he left for bigger and better things. He says he's sick of Steamboat harassing his woman Medusa, and then brings her out for audience questions. We get a pair of women who get into a yelling match because they're supposed to be having a long time affair with Ricky Steamboat. Rick Rude isn't surprised with these accusations of infidelity and he apologises to Rick Steamboat. Right. If we just do Rude says he's sick of Rick Steamboat attacking his woman Medusa, brings out audience questions. Rick Rude isn't surprised by these accusations of infidelity and apologises to Miss Steamboat. Simple enough. Let's just have Jim Ross as the interviewer, Rick Rude cutting a promo, Medusa character development on Ricky Steamboat off screen. 5 minutes is fine. Then get a Vinny Vega squash. Kevin Nash gets a win in 2 minutes. Instead, I'm just happy to do Vinny Vegas, the Diamond Stud, and DDP against Faces, Z-Man, Tony Sinclair, and Tim Bossman. That just kind of gets everyone in. Let's do who's higher up. Are they more or less the same? DDP, Diamond Stud, Vinny Vegas. Popularity 44, 42, 50. Let's do the Diamond Stud it is. Nice. Then get an update with Eric Bischoff. The Steiner brothers won the tag team titles from the Dangerous Alliance at a house show in Chicago. This was notable because Arn Anderson wrote about it in his book as though it was a shoot. So this sets up the Steiners defending against a New Japan team at Wrestle War. Eric also runs down the impending NWA. So if I just I'll do that as the main event, to be honest. So the Steiner brothers against Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton. Ugh, that's fine, we can still do it. It should still be fine. WCW World Tag Team. Scott Steiner, make it storytelling. Right. So, update with Eric Bischoff. Steiners versus Dangerous Alliance for the tag title tonight. With the winner going against a team from New Japan at Wrestle War. I guess we can do Eric Bischoff as the interviewer. Let's have Rick Steiner, that no cut of promo, with Scott and Bobby. Perfect. We need all the angles we can get on this show. Eric runs down the NWA Tag Team Tournament, showing that Bill Watts inherited that particular mess when he came in. Again, this is the problem with WCW at that point, along with many. They've hyped up house shows in Chicago for a title change, plus the hyping up the Omni show and Clash of Champions and the NWA Tag Tournament to Wrestle War. Though the main feud is Steamboat against Rick Rude and they're nowhere to be seen. People need to stop being so negative. Eric Bischoff runs down the impending NWA Tag Team Tournament. Eric, I guess, it's the interviewer, and let's just have everyone kind of cutting a promo. Who's in it? It's Benoit, Dean, Eddie, Texano, Joe's in it. So is Miguel. So is Silver King. So is Walter Wilkins. Al, Artbar. Colonel De Beers. Ivan's in it. Bagwell, I think, is in it. Is Terry Taylor and Greg Valentine? No. Eaton's in it, so it's Pillman. Gavin, Liger. Is Nikita? Steiner. Steve. Gordy. Wyndham. Dustin. Austin. Rude. Don't think Ricky Steamboat's. Ricky Steamboat, isn't it? Oh, how many people are the interviewer? That's annoying. El Madro, cutting a promo. I just have to go through all of these now. Not Comic Relief. Oh, it's gotta be everyone, isn't it? Promo. How far down was Eric Bischoff cutting a promo? Promo. I'm hoping he's unrecognisable, so it hasn't actually affected too much. Cutting a promo, Steiner. It's just mortifying. Nice. Yeah, cutting a promo. Why are all these interviews? Why is Eric all the way down here? Why there was a way to... Oh, that's annoying. Nice. Absolutely was not worth it. That here. Then got the Diamond Stud against Ron Campbell. Already got that. Scotty Flamingo against Brad Armstrong. JT Southern was fired shortly after this match. Apparently just wasn't very good at anything. But Lionheart will be. Let's do Scotty Flamingo against Brad Armstrong. Scotty Flamingo. Outside interference finish on Brad by Lionheart. Nice. Got Steve Austin against Barry Windham. It's a 2 out of 3 falls for the WCW World TV title. The ref bump and the belt gets involved, but Austin misses and Windham rolls him up for the pin and the title. At least we got a title change. Windham held it for a month and then dropped it back to Austin. Barry Windham against Steve Austin. We can just have it as a long 20-minute. WCW TV. Barry Windham. Storytelling. Nice, that kind of fills it in. Austin does not deal well with this. Austin does not deal with this well and steals the belt back after beating up Windham. So Steve Austin, character development with Barry Windham. 2 title changes on one show. Who says nothing happens in WCW? So WCW Super Brawl ad. I felt like these shows went from like the best that I was booking to kind of not being the best since they decided they want every main event as a 2 out of 3 falls, and WCW's in its own guest host era. Book. Nice. I want you to cut some time. Sting talks about how it feels getting into the ring with Vader. So Sting cutting a promo on Big Van screen. Nice. So what is the issue? Arn's wrestling while he's injured. That's fine. How much actually can we cut? We don't need to make this storytelling anymore. So now it's not as bad. Alright, let's run this show. Hopefully everything's alright. We've got WCW Saturday Night Opening, and about which didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. Ivan defeated Bob Cook in 133 by pinfall with a Russian sickle. We have this match work the crowd. Rude says he's sick of Steamboat harassing his woman Medusa and brings her out for audience questions. Rude says he isn't surprised by accusations of infidelity and apologises to Miss Steamboat. Good heat and decent wrestling. Nikita defeated Greg Valentine in 10:02 with a Russian sickle. We got an update with Eric Bischoff, and we find out the Steiners against Dangerous Alliance for the tag team titles tonight, with the winners going against the team from New Japan at Wrestle War. The Diamond Mine of Vinny Vegas, the Diamond Stud and DDP defeated Bossman, Tony Sinclair and Z-Man, when Stud pinned Tony Sinclair with the Diamond Drop. During the match, Z-Man sustained a broken collarbone. Eric Bischoff runs down the impending NWA Tag Team Tournament. So many people did not come out of this looking good. Scotty Flamingo defeated Brad Armstrong in 120 with a piledriver following interference from Lionheart. We then got a Super Brawl ad, and in a bout which had great wrestling and good heat, the Steiners defeated Arn and Bobby in 7:51 when Scott pinned Bobby with a Steiner screwdriver to win the WCW World Tag Team titles. Sting talked about how it feels getting into the ring with Vader. In the main event, which I thought would have done better, especially since I tried to lift the crowd. And also I'm happy Steve and his wife have pretty good chemistry. Barry Windham defeated Steve Austin in 2016, the year of our Lord, by pinfall with a superplex. And Barry Windham wins the World TV title. Austin does not deal with this well and beats up Windham. Solid show, not our best, not our worst. Z-Man will be out for 19 days, that's not too bad. Popularity isn't great, but we shouldn't have any worries about dropping down to small. No one gets the night off. I think we're in the Mid-South. 22nd of March. We are in the Mid-South. working team meeting. We don't have to do anything. Ken Raper wants to come in. So does Brian Adias. Lewis Bacoli turned up so high to be sent home, so we'll fine him. Skinner ran some drills for Jerry Gray. Fritz has an idea. Some heat between Mustafa and Owen. Slaughter brought pizza. Here's me thinking everything will come together. WWF Superstars. 9th of May 1992. Our hosts are Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect, with the opening montage having removed Sid Justice. Angle, WWF Superstars opening. 4 minutes, hype, pre-taped video. I'm happy keeping Sid for a bit. Let's add in Andre, Bulldog, and Sean. Now it's be improvised. Perfect. Kamala returns in this show. The Legion of Doom are in action as we start off with Brett against Von Cross. Let's have Brett take on heel, male, Barry Horowitz. Bret Hart goes over. Nice. It doesn't have to be the IC. We hear from Sean and Sherry an inside promo saying they are a dynasty in the making and will break some hearts, with Brett being first. Sean says he will break some hearts, with Brett being first. Sean and Sensational Sherry cut a promo on Brett, who is on character development. 3 minutes should do. We get the WWF update with Gene Oakland. This week's focus on the Bulldog recap match, the Bulldog Repo Man match from Wrestling Challenge, where Repo attacked Bulldog with his grappling hook. We then hear from Bulldog telling Repo Man that he will not be tied down, then proceeds to flex. Just do WWF update with Gene Oakland and do the usual hype video gimmick. I'm not bothering with anything involving Repo Man. Andre. Oh, Kamala's already well known. I'm happy with that. Bulldog. And Sean. And Billy Graham. Nice. We can make it improvised. Harvey Whippleman is in the ring with Howard Finkel. He introduces his new client, Kamala. Kamala gets a quick win in 48 seconds. Since Sid quit and Warlord was fired, Whippleman needed someone to manage, and they brought in Kamala. I know they needed to bring in talent, but Kamala is from a different era, and does not seem like someone who should be pushed on TV. According to Kamala, Vince called him up to return and gave him a deal where he took out 15% of his gross and put it in a bank that he would give to him with interest after he finished his 2-year deal. Kamala said he got the money back and it wound up being $17,000 after about 2 years. Kamala says it shows how little money he made during the run. That's a shame. Kamala could take on face, male, Tom Davis. Always good to have a Ugandan giant. Ad for WWF Body Stars airs with Lex Luger. Where's for Lex Luger? I don't know why I'm really blanking on this. Or Luger. Chowder. Pronounced chowder. 3 minutes. El Matador defeats Bob Bradley. Mr. Perfect tells us he has a letter addressed to Bossman. The letter tells us that the convict is out and Bossman is nothing but a pig without a prayer. Let's have Tito taking on heel, male. Barry Horowitz already wrestling? Yep, he can take on Bill Tab. It's a match that's happened? It's not. Stick Tito over. We can do the whole Mr. Perfect bit. Angle. The convict is out and says Bossman is nothing but a pig without a prayer. So we can probably just do like Mr. Perfect to a degree as the interviewer with nails. Cutting a promo on Big Bossman. Off screen. Nice. Legion of Doom defeat Mark Kay and Kerry Davis. And nothing really happens. Team, let's have Legion of Doom get a win over heel males, Brooklyn Brawler, and General let's do General Adnan and Jerry Grid. 5 minutes, stick Animal over. Move that match down here. We then have Kato against Crush. So instead of Crush, we have our man, Kenny Kendall. Where is he? He can take on heel, male, Colonel Mustafa. With Kenny Kendall going over. Ooh. Nice. I knew you'd be furious. After the match, we see Crush pick up Mustafa and raise his hand, then Mustafa falls down. So Kenny Kendall asked me to cut the promo. Is it Colonel Mustafa? It is. Add storyline. Do it. Bra. Kenny Kendall. Colonel Mustafa. We see a vignette from Papa Shango. A picture of the Ultimate Warrior is burning as Shango talks about reigning over the warriors. He laughs a lot as he is now cursed warrior. Happy with that? Ultimate Warrior's could leave soon as well. Not on my watch. Papa Shango cutting a promo on the Ultimate Warrior. Nice. Gene Oaklands welcomes Rick Martel to the interview platform. Martel has Tatanka's feathers hanging off his hat. Oakland asks about last week when Martel accidentally sprayed arrogance into Tatanka's eyes. Martel insults Oakland, then says that the feathers are a new fashion trend in Europe. Solid. It's fine. 4 minutes. Let's have Gene as the interviewer. Rick Martel cutting a promo on Tatanka. Then have Ric Flair with Mr. Perfect against Sergeant Slaughter. After the match, Jimmy Hart runs down to the back to take care of things. Flair gets shoved down after a lockup as Slaughter starts mocking Flair. We now see the Mountie at ringside as Slaughter catches Flair with a slam. Jimmy Hart comes down with a narrow case and carefully places it behind Slaughter, who is now seated. Mountie slowly loosens the case as Slaughter fights back. Mountie pulls the item out of the case that the camera briefly shows before cutting away, but it's clearly a cattle prod. Mountie shocks Slaughter with a cattle prod and Flair covers for the win. After the match, Hart runs down to the back with the case and scurries backstage as Mountie celebrates with Flair. Hart runs back down and celebrates with Mountie and sings his theme song while Slaughter is stretchered to the back. What's I guess Mountie's still in this one. Add storyline to a cattle prod. Sergeant Slaughter, the Mountie, Ric Flair, in a supporting role, Jimmy Hart in a supporting role. Nice. So let's have Ric Flair against Sergeant Slaughter. We can make this the main event. Ric Flair wins, storytelling. Outside interference finish on Slaughter by the Mountie. Then Hart runs back down and celebrates as the Mountie sings his theme song. So we have Jimmy Hart, Ric Flair, and the Mountie. Nice. It can be unscripted. Yeah, it can be unscripted. And then finally, the Nasty Boys against Brian Beager and Billy Pierce. That's the end of the show. So Sid is now done with the company. The official word from the company after he left on the 26th of April, Boston Garden show, was that he was suspended. However, Sid had reportedly planned on quitting soon anyway. Sid failed a drug test before WrestleMania. Sid said he told Vince he was using and that everyone knew who was using what in the company. So the company was not too pleased. Another note was how Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer noted this was the third straight year that Sid took the summer off and ended up playing softball. Nice. Well, I'm going to keep him around, so that's just me. That's just me. Yeah, we have a Nasty Boys win. That's fine. They take on Face, Males, Jim Powers and Coco Beware. 6 minutes. Brian Knobbs. What else do we need? We need a book another 5 minutes. Let's have the Ultimate Warrior take on heel Earthquake. Just stick the Ultimate Warrior over. At ringside we can stick Sid. Nice. Done here. So if we have this match, work the crowd. This match, lift the crowd. Should be good, that's fine. For that match, let's have this match lift the crowd again. The main event, let's try it like that. What's book and analysis saying? Colonel Mustafa's unhappy. We're at 66%, so would not be penalised. Everything else looks fine. What's our creative idea? Dynamite Kid angle, not to use it, it's extremely risky. Don't need a Fritz finish. Jimmy Snuka, you can just this. Yeah, I do. Jimmy's gimmick. Then Scott Colton, we're fine. Let's run the show. So we've got a WWF Superstars opening. There it is. Did fine. Brett defeated Barry Horowitz. Look at that. in 40 seconds with a sharpshooter. Maybe I should have stuck Bret Hart as the figurehead, but he does leave, so I don't know. We hear from Sean and Sherry in an insert promo saying they are a dynasty in the making and will break some hearts, with Bret's being first. An extremely short match, the Legion of Doom defeated Jerry Gray and General Adnan when Animal pinned Jerry Gray with a Doomsday device. We then get the WWF update with Gene Okerlund. Kamala defeated Tom Davis in 123 with his debut with an Air Africa. A WBF Body Stars airs with Lex Luger. An extremely short match, a match where Tito broke his toe. He defeated Bill Tab in 303 with a figure 4. Oh, Bill Tab got some heat. Mr. Perfect tells us he has a letter addressed to the Big Boss Man by the Convict. The letter tells us how the Convict is out and Big Boss Man is nothing but a pig with a prayer. An extremely short match, Kenny Kendall defeated Mustafa in 448. And after the match we see Crush picking up Mustafa and raise his hand and then falls down. The Ultimate Warrior defeated Earthquake in 648 with a running splash. I think we don't need to lift the crowd, let's just make this a wild brawl. A picture of the Ultimate Warriors burning as Shango talks about reigning over the Warriors. He laughs and says he has cursed Warrior. In a decent wild brawl, the Nasty Boys defeated Jim Powers and Coco when Knobs pinned Powers with a trip to Nastyville. Gene Okerlund welcomes Rick Martel to the interview platform. Martel has Tatanka's feathers hanging off his hat. Okerlund asks about last week when Martel accidentally sprayed arrogance into Tatanka's eyes. Martel insults Okerlund, then says the feathers are a new fashion trend in Europe. Then finally in our main event, in a bout which had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Flair defeated Slaughter with a figure 4 after interference from the Mountie. Hart runs back down to the ring and celebrates as Mountie sings his theme song and Slaughter is stretched to the back. 77, there we go, we're getting there. Tito, 4 days, he can work through it. And there's Alexander the Great, also known as Big Dick Dudley. Not to be crass. So I think, just as we're heading up to the 2-hour mark, that'll be it for today's stream. And I'd like to thank everyone for hanging out. I will be back later in the day, if anyone's around. Instead of doing Minecraft, I will do another TEW stream. So we've got that to look forward to. Just continuing the save. I was thinking of starting something else and I can't remember what. I have had the thought of doing a AEW from the start stream, but at the same time I'm kind of a bit like, AAA hiring everyone. Ricky Steamboat has been given a New Japan touring contract. Nice. Rick Rude thinks Kahlua needs to learn how to sell. And Z-Man has a broken collarbone. What's AAA saying? Let's view this roster. It looks solid, if you ask me. I don't know much about AAA, but that kind of looks right to me. How's ECW doing? They're doing well. They're doing alright. Is there any other companies going out of biz? How long does Ladies Pro Wrestling Association last? So it goes defunct in 98. So it runs from 89 to 92. Then 98 to 2000. I think they should last a little longer. Pacific Northwest we've already dealt with. Oh, Super World of Sports. ran from 1990 to 1992. On June 19th, 92, SWS ran its final card. They are not in bad enough to accept you 8 million in debt. 13,000 from Laurie Sharp and Paul Laring's company. That's not doing too bad. They're willing to discuss it though. They're willing to discuss it. Everywhere else can, it's fine. Main events on tonight, WWF, what's going on? Instant Sean, hard drug user, let's find him. Tito's been injured, that's not the end of the world. How is SWS drawing? 800 to be fair, like. They're not really going to get out of debt with 800. Well, thank you all for watching. Please stay safe and look after yourselves. All the kind words mean a whole lot to me. I'll see you all a little later. Stay safe.